in, as they say. Okay, so today we would like to introduce you to Oceanwide expeditions. Now, the Oceanwide expeditions have been, well, actually coming up for the 30th year of operation this year. And the idea around the whole premise of Oceanwide is really to encourage customers to rediscover their sense of wonder. And what we mean by that is, unlike some of the ultra luxury cruises that you see now that are going to the Arctic and Antarctica, we really try to make sure that our guests are immersed into the area that they're going to be in. So this is really about using our zodiacs, making sure that we can take people on shore as many days as we possibly can in the whole lifestyle of the itinerary. So it's really about making sure that we can take them into the nature, into really understand what's going on in the polar regions. That really is the premise of the company. I won't spend too much time on the next slide. This really is, I'll leave this for information more than anything else. It's just really showcasing the fact that there is history with this particular product. So the whole idea around it was a foundation, a scientific based foundation to look at the polar regions and understand how we could really bring alive what's going on in these areas to the right kinds of guests that really wanted to immerse themselves in the program. So as you can see, right back as far as 1980, moving fast forward to where we are now in sort of like the 2020s, it really is a case of saying, right, okay, we have a number of ships that have been involved, and that we've now got a fleet of 5 ships, which we're very proud about, and we'll talk about those some more towards the end of the presentation. So I literally am now going to hand over to Alan. I'm going to stop talking because Alan is going to talk about some of our absolutely amazing itineraries. Alan, all yours, and I will drive as required.
Great, thanks very much. And I'll quickly go through the itineraries. One thing that I would say is that we're constantly looking for and creating new itineraries. There's another one that we have that's coming up. That's a relocation one. It'll go right down to New Zealand and back up again. So it's hitting the Antarctica and then going south, which is part of the ethos of the company, which is constantly looking for new areas to go. A lot of the itineraries that you're actually going to see that's actually on both for Nordic areas that we're going to go and for so Arctic and Antarctica. So we've identified various areas, but on each one there is hundreds of different locations that we can actually drop off or basically go to. So while that's the standard itinerary, depending on the weather, and whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, we will find different areas to basically go to so that you get the best experience possible. So a little bit like going to there's key areas that we want to go to, but there's an awful lot of the other itineraries where it's not like going to New York sometimes, where you need to go to Madison Square Garden, you need to go to various areas. The areas that we go to are basically vast. So therefore, if there's a particular landing site that we've identified on a map, we have alternatives that we can go to if the weather is inclement or that. But it also is to ensure that we go see the best wildlife, and that is the reason for your visit. So if we start in Svalbard. So Svalbard is basically, or Spitsbergen, that's basically going to be a point of entry on this particular itinerary. And we go to where the wildlife is actually seen. So we go up towards 7 islands, depending on as the ice and as the winter starts to dissipate, it becomes a lot more warmer that's up there. Therefore, we can go to areas as the weather changes. So what's interesting is whether you're going Arctic or Antarctica, not one trip is going to be the same as the next, because obviously with the weather changes, your landing locations, your various areas, it can change. The key things is that the tour guides, the operators that's on board, and we actually own the ships as well, so all the pilots and the captains, we're always looking for the next spot to where to go to so that you can get the best of the animal exposure, the wild that's basically around. And the fact that we go repetitively, have done for the last 30 years, we know the key locations, but that changes each year. And with that, because we've just been out in various areas, we can actually go back to areas that we know where the wildlife is sitting, so that you get the best experience possible. So the reason why on this particular chart you've got several different areas that basically goes that we go to, it's all about changing the weather, and the change in the weather brings exciting new areas that we can explore. So Longyearbyen is the actual point of embark and disembarkation, and then you can either go north or you're going to go south around the island. And then that obviously for Arctic, you're going to have Arctic fox, bearded seal, you're going to puffins, the walrus, the polar bears, blue whale, seals, all of the wildlife that's basically around those areas that you're basically going to see. So next slide. Then obviously you're going to get Spitsbergen to North Greenland. Greenland, obviously, we're constantly looking for areas again to explore. So we actually go from Southfjord down into Greenland and then into Iceland. Great itinerary, shows a little bit of the different wildlife that's in Greenland. I like it because there's also, you've hit 2 or 3 different areas: Svalbard, Greenland, and then Iceland. It's great to have it on your notes, and a real inspiration where friends want to go back and actually see where you've actually sailed to. So next slide. So this is Greenland. So this is giving you a little bit more closer detail of the areas that we go inside. So as the fjords or the areas, as the ice dissipates, we're in deeper and closer. So there you're going to see the wildlife that's there, whether it's the bird life or whether it's land. You're going to see everything, as I say, from foxes to basically the blue whales to the polar bears. This is all where you're going to see them. Next, okay, Ultimate Arctic, again, great spot in that it's Spitsbergen. It's basically going to hit, it's going to go back over to Greenland and then Iceland. Again, this takes in more itineraries. You know, we look at flexible itineraries. Generally, they are about 7 to 10 days. That's within it, which we know that's the time scale that most people actually have available, and that takes into account, say, 2 days ahead if you want to get there, then explore Longyearbyen, and then if it is a case that obviously you want to get off when you disembark the vessel and explore the area again. So again, gives you opportunities. And what we actually try to do is, a lot of these is really the time scale that somebody would have available to get out. As I say, 10 days, we know especially in the United States, you know, a vacation time is limited. So therefore, we're trying to make the most out of the areas that we visit. And that's whether it's Antarctic or Antarctica. Next slide. So this is southern Antarctica. Again, great opportunity. This is one of the key ones that actually books out fast. This goes basically to the Falklands. It goes to South Georgia, and then basically down into Weddell Sea, and then back up into Ushuaia. Every itinerary that we basically operate from down here actually goes from Ushuaia. It's the most southerly point that's basically down there. Do give yourself a day or two to basically get there. Again, stay overnight so that you get the full flavor of it. But this is the key lynch. And so you're going to go across the Drake Passage, sometimes Drake Passage and others, but it really is this is the entry into the polar regions that's basically south. Brings you down to Weddell Sea and the various areas. Now the peninsula on this particular slide basically hits on, although we've highlighted several of the known points, there's about 100 different landing sites that we actually have that we will actually land at. So at the start of the itinerary, whatever you have at the itinerary, if we've changed it at the end of the voyage, we will actually send out an email to everybody that was actually on the voyage. What was the positions that the ship basically went to, the original, and what was the longitude, latitude of the areas that we basically visited, so that you can actually pinpoint the regions that you were at. Again, what happens is that here's the best laid plan, but we got plans B, C, D. And why is that? Because weather changes constantly. And that's not to say it's poor. It could be a swell in a particular area, that we go to a different bay. You could have local weather systems, where there's a case on one particular bay, you could actually have a lot of cloud because, of course, the elevation of the clouds of the mountains that's around creates that. Whereas if you go to another bay that's on the next side of it, will basically could be calmer. It's a lot more workable for the vessel and for the guest. So, you know, obviously our contribution to this is to make sure you get the best experience possible. So therefore, following an itinerary that's planned is A, or B, meaning that we can get you to the best penguin colonies. We can get you to the sites where you actually see the whales, where you see the wildlife. The fact that we're actually constantly doing this for the last 30 years and going back and forth every voyage gives us the knowledge of what's happening. And then, of course, you get the different times of the year. So if you look at December, that's where the colonies are just starting to nest. And then as you go further on, that's where the chicks are basically already developed. They've already been born, they're developed. And basically during the course of the season, you're basically going to see daylight, 24 hours. That's basically there. But it changes everything. And that's the beauty about what we actually provide. So we always maintain that we will basically try as best as possible so you get the best experience that's out there. And that's visiting always where you're going to see the best. Waddlesea is definitely one of the areas that we basically go. One of the ships, we basically have the 3 helicopters that's basically on. And out of that, you can actually fly over where Shackleton, basically the Endurance, where the actual ship basically sank, and you can actually be right above it with a helicopter so that you know the position of that. So there's a lot of history that's basically down there. I think one of the things that we basically do very well, and Amanda already alluded to this, but we do social science on board. This is where not only do we go to Antarctica, but you also have a lot of scientific people that's basically on board, traveling to give you the knowledge and share it. We also do experiments that's basically on board. So we're not just a ship that basically does say the voyage, but we really want to share the knowledge and get that out. So that's where you'll basically visit an awful lot of the scientific research camps, and when we can get in, and when they're available, because of course they are doing research, but they're a great source of information, a great time to actually go visit them. That's basically there. In addition to that, as I say, we have the people that's basically on board from a science point of view, and it's really about sharing knowledge. You want to be able to come on this, have an experience, and basically go home, not just to say that you were there, but now you were informed. Now you got the knowledge. Now you got a lot more education than what you did when you basically went out, and you felt it. You really were immersed in the weather and the system and the place that you experienced. Beyond the polar circle, just going on there because I know that's it. Again, Arctic Peninsula, the areas that's around, we do different itineraries that basically go around here. Again, one of the great things about this particular itinerary is it goes across the Arctic Circle. So of course that's another home plus that a lot of people want to see. But on this, you're going to see a lot of blue whales. You see the fin whales, you see sperm whales. You're basically going to see the penguin colonies that's basically out there. Remote Waddlesea, again, same thing as we go into that particular site. This one goes up around South Georgia, basically comes back around, you're hitting into Waddlesea, and then back into Ushuaia itself. Again, the place markings are basically there to give you guidance as to where the ship is going. But because we're a true expedition ship, if we see and the captain sees a different area that has a lot more wildlife that's beneficial to the guests on board, that's basically where we're going to go. Remember, we only have 108 on the smaller ships, 170 on the larger ships. So that's the size of what you got. So we're able to manipulate into bays, local areas, so that larger ships, they can't go there, and you can only have X amount of people on shore. How do we do with 170 people? We basically do half the amount of people go on shore first. They do hiking and then basically go on land. So we do the landing zones, and then the other half we basically have gone around the bays in the zodiacs, because of course, and then you swap over. So you're never basically on the ship. Always, as much as possible, you are basically either on land or out experiencing the areas that we actually go to. Remember, we use kayaks, we use zodiacs. These are all small boats, small areas, so you're intimately up close and touch front with wildlife. So you'll hear the feeling, you'll get the breeze that's basically out there. A lot of people think it's very cold, but actually the time of the year that we actually go there, it's actually quite mild, and it's a beautiful way to see it. Okay, sorry, I went ahead. So, okay, next itinerary, the going from Ushuaia, sorry, one street. This is like code drama. Anyway, okay, well, we'll go on anyway. Actually, if you go back one slide, that'd be great. Okay, can't go back one slide. Okay, sorry, technical issues as we see. Okay, this particular one is a relocation. Anything that's basically long will be a relocation. So you're going to Ushuaia back up to Pereira. Again, hits in South Georgia, goes back up to the north, global north. So that gives you another look. If we go next slide. Okay, this is the slide I also wanted to basically showcase, because it does give you a good understanding of the activities and why we actually go on these trips. So if you look at it, you got the Zodiac that's basically in front of the vessel. So the vessel is basically the okay, the hub. But from that, you basically have the base camps, you basically have all the activities which we're going to show here right now in a minute. So you got polar diving, you got snowshoeing, you got Zodiac, you got the photo shop, kayaking, you got hiking. You can actually stay out overnight in underneath. You don't need a tent, because the best experience is actually not having the tent and basically in the beanbags. A lot of people do that. It's an experience. You can hear the wilderness that's basically out there. You can hear the ice crushing that's basically around. It really is fabulous. And when you think people will basically say, well, it gets dark, what am I going to do? Well, in actual fact, it's 24 hours of daylight. So the beauty is all the way around, and it's absolutely fabulous. What changes from the start of the season, from December to March, is that your landscape changes, in the sense that the lighting changes and adjusts. So you can have some really lovely visuals, some great viewing points that's basically out there. But you got all day to basically look around as well, and go on the hiking and the snow trails and that's around. And we escort everybody. We go on the smaller teams. That's basically there. So depending on what your ability is, from if you're a fast walker or a different group, we have people that we set up into different groups. So therefore, don't worry about it. You're not going to be, it's not a marathon. This is an experience that you really want to have, that basically gives you the insight. Again, camping, we just hear now on the slides, camping on the right hand side. Again, this is the key. This is truly an experience. If you haven't done it, it's really the way to see Antarctica. That's basically down there. And on the left-hand side, then you have the helicopters, as I said, that's on board one of the ships. We've got 3 of them on that particular ship, and they basically go over the Wattle Sea in the areas and bring you over near the penguin colonies that are remote. So next slide. Again, mountaineering, snow skiing, absolutely. All of this is the fun piece that basically out there. And again, this is why we go there. You know, it's really, you're there, you're on the ship by yourself, you're with the group that's basically on board, and you're broken up into separate areas. So really, this is an intimate relationship between you as a person and the wilderness that's around you. Really is fantastic. Next slide. Okay, the activities, again, already hit on most of them. Kayaking, you basically, this is the base camp process. So once you get into the base camp, that means that you having to go back to the ship on every single thing that you want to change. If you want to do snowboarding, or sorry, not snowboarding, but if you want to do snow walking, if you want to do hiking, if you're going to basically do the pictures, this is all to facilitate that you have the maximum time ashore. And this was brought in a number of years ago by the company. We were basically the ones that delivered this first, this particular concept. And it means you don't have to go back. You got a base camp that it would be if you were a true explorer, and that means that you're able to do all the other activities that are basically available to you. And it's just a fantastic way to make the best time that you're basically going to be down here. Next slide. Okay, so a couple of the fleet, the ship as it is. Plantiers, you have the Rembrandt. Rembrandt is the only sailing ship that we basically have. It's 40 people. It does the Nordic. All the other ships do actually Antarctica. So this is Arctic, and Antarctica this is a great ship. If you ever got a group that's about 40 people, and if you ever want to do a charter, this is it. And we can actually produce charters if somebody had it just to do particular islands or particular areas that group wants to actually go and see. So it's a really nice addition, because there's not many ships that's basically out there that you can actually have a small group like this and really dictate where you want to go and what you want to do. And again, the one thing that we would do is help you on that journey. So if somebody comes to you and basically says, look, I'm really looking for something different and unique, you got it, because we will actually work with the agent to basically say, look, this is what we recommend, this is what we can do, so that you can go back but with full confidence to basically say, look, we can deliver on this. And that's what we're about here. This is a hand-in-hand approach as we go through, basically supporting all the agents, everybody that is with this product. Again, you can always pick up the phone anytime that you got questions, whether that's in the States, because we have the office there and Amanda will go through that, or whether it's on Europe. So on any time of the night or day, you pretty much got somebody that's on hand, which is a great experience. But I'll go back to the ships. Ortelius is basically, so this is the ship with the 3 helicopters that's basically on board. It's a larger vessel. It was an icebreaker one time. It is a true research vessel. Out of all the vessels that we got, they all are different DNA, or they look different and feel different. This one is a larger ship. It's 108 people. There's 52 cabins that's on board, the same as Plantius that we basically have, except there's a lot more space on this because it was originally an expedition ship in itself, and then obviously this is the one with the 3 helicopters, so hence you got a larger platform that's basically on top of the back of the vessel. Okay, next one. Again, this is that was another quick glimpse of Plantius with the helicopters that's on back. Oh, sorry, with the Ortelius. Plantius is a great vessel, a little bit smaller, 108 packs that's basically on board, 52 cabins. Again, absolutely beautiful. This one basically you disembark on the Zodiacs on the side. On one of the other vessels that we'll show you now in a minute, we have a shell gate that actually is a little bit easier. So again, all of these ships cater for different type of clientele, and they're a different type of for the expedition area, but all will give you a fabulous experience that's basically on board. Next ship, Plantius, you can see again, this will give you a good idea of where the whales were on this. Honduras is basically one of our newest vessels that's basically out. It was basically just brought out in 2019, worked in 2020, but because of obviously COVID, we didn't actually go down that particular area. So this ship is literally like getting on a brand new ship at the present moment. We're currently building its sister ship that we're hoping should be finished and out operating for next year. So again, we're constantly developing new ships for the areas that we actually explore. And I think that's key, because with 30 odd years, we're investing not only our time, but also the investment back in so that people can really enjoy the areas that they're going. Again, another great shot. You can actually really get a feel for the area that you're in down there. So a quick look at the area, the Honduras. Up in the top left, that's actually the new ship that's basically coming in. But then you have a look at the other ships, and again, it go from 33 packs or 40, you can basically get on the Rembrandt, up to 108 for the two other vessels, and the Honduras is basically 170 people. But again, 170 people in the area that we're going, it's perfect. You know, we split them up into groups. That's where you want to go. You don't want to go any bigger on the numbers of that. This is an expedition. This is not just a cruise. It really is something to take the bucket list. Next slide. Okay, and then closer to the heart. So I think that goes back to Amanda. I hope I've done it justice.
Do you know what? I'm thinking about us whizzing through this. That literally, you whizzed through it, but it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, we
So
said 20 minutes, so you're
I
at the
know, I know, I know. Well done. So, want to talk about the resources for you guys. We do have a partner portal. So, what this actually allows you to do, and it's a shame I can't demonstrate it today, just not the time for it. But this actually allows you to download any photography videos that you want. We've got videos from polar bears to penguins, all the imagery you could possibly want. Now we're just in the process of putting together reels for social media for our agent partners. So we're just in the process of doing that because at the moment, you could take our imagery and you could turn them into your own reels, your own pictures for social, but we're going to give you those assets as well. So that's something we're working on, and I'm hoping in the next couple of months we'll have that live. In addition, we've got all the dates and rates. So obviously we have a website. That our website is all live. You can go in and you can check. However, the dates and rates are all there so that your agent partner, if they're not feeling confident about going in online, they can have a look. Dates and rates all laid out, all live. We'll even tell you about the availability, so they'll know how many cabins are available on a particular sailing. And it just makes it easier for them if they feel more comfortable to phone the office and speak to someone, but they've actually got all the information at hand should they wish to have it, in addition to the website. We've also got a number of downloads, and this is reams and reams of information. So this is from brochures, small brochures, large brochures, right through to every single trip itinerary in detail. So this will tell you exactly what is going on every day for every single trip that we're doing. And again, it is a real central source of information that your team have instant access to very easily. PIFs, the personal information forms for medicals, for all of that side, this is all automated now. So literally all the advisor needs to do, it's all done online, generates an email off to us, and that's all held against the manifest for your customers. And it's all secure and all held against your booking reference, your trading number with us, and your customer's profile. So that is safe and secure, but it's an easier way now of transacting that information. Bookings, you've got all your bookings in one place. So if you're a particular agent partner of yours, they can all register independently and literally have all their bookings in one place. If you require any access to any of that as I guess the mothership, then there's a way that we can set that up behind the scenes to make sure that you have access to everything. We also have blogs. So we're constantly putting out blogs. It might be about the polar bears. It might be about the Snow Hill, the colony down there. And it will be information that your team can utilize on their own websites or their own social media. It's all content that we're happy to share with everybody. And then tools and services. This one is very, very, I would say, market leading really for any of your agent partners that are good at web development themselves, or they've got a web developer that they work with, because it's all XML feeds. So whether that's the content, whether that's the availability, you've got JSON XML feeds that will feed straight into your systems yourselves. So again, that's all there available for you as part of our partner portal. We do a video tour as soon as you sign up. So I've put the registration address on this presentation, and I will actually send you this presentation, and I'll send you another one with all the imagery of the cabins. And as soon as you sign up, come into the portal, do the video tour, and that will actually give all of this in a lot more detail. We do also have a YouTube channel, and I'll send you the web address for the YouTube channel. That's sort of a mouthful. And that will just give, again, your agent partners a little bit more, I guess, confidence about the brand. And also you can see it in situ. You can see what's going on. You can see what customers think of us. You can look at the eclectic mix of customer base that we have. You know, it really is a case of, it could be someone who's 20 years old here who's just left university wanting to see the polar regions, to a really fit retired couple that absolutely have a passion for this kind of experience. And then my final slide really is just to say we do have a team in the States. They're in Houston, Texas. We do have an email for them. We have a telephone number. They're available Monday to Friday. But as Alan mentioned, we also have a team in the Netherlands. So when America's closed, the Netherlands are open and vice versa. But there are three lovely ladies who work out of our office. So they work from home from around near the office. You know, it's hybrid working these days. And we have them in terms of their knowledge is fantastic. In fact, Maria, one of the team who's been out recently to Greenland, her vision and her story that she'll tell you about Greenland is how awe-inspiring it is, from going into those fjords to feeling like an ant in this world of you know, the unknown, so as we would, you know, not encounter that every moment. So this for us is a real asset for the Oceanwide team, because we have three very knowledgeable ladies that are at the end of the phone for any of your team to talk to at any point. And if they're not comfortable on the phone, just drop us an email. And that's as easy as it can be, really. And then to summarize really for you, I'm going to stop sharing now. That's the major piece of the presentation.